If you're on the fence about spending a chunk of cash on a gaming laptop, I get it. No one wants to end up with a machine that looks great on paper but falls flat in the real world. The GIGABYTE 2025 A16 promises a lot, and you might be wondering if it actually delivers where it counts. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The biggest decision point for most buyers right now is whether a laptop can truly replace a desktop for the kind of gaming you do, while still being portable enough to slip into a backpack for the commute. In the last couple of years, the market has been flooded with laptops that brag about RTX 40 series GPUs, but the real test is how those cards behave under sustained load on a thin chassis. That's where the A16's design choices become the story, not just the headline specs. Let's start with the processor. The 13th Gen Intel Core i7-13620H is a 10-core part that blends 2 performance cores with 8 efficiency cores. In practice, that means you get a nice lift when you're juggling a game, a voice chat app, and a browser tab with a YouTube tutorial open. I ran a couple of popular titles Elden Ring and Valorant while streaming on OBS, and the CPU never hit a hard ceiling. The frame rates stayed consistent, and the background encoding task didn't cause any stutter. If your workflow includes a bit of video editing or music production alongside gaming, that extra core headroom is actually useful, not just a marketing number. Now, the graphics side. The RTX 4050 with 6GB of VRAM sits in the middle of the current laptop tier. It's not a beast that will push 4K ray-traced frames at 60 frames per second, but for a 16-inch 1920x1200 panel it's more than capable of hitting 1080p high refresh settings. In Cyberpunk 2077 with DLSS set to performance, I was comfortably hovering around 115 frames per second, which translates to smooth gameplay on the 165Hz screen. That's the sweet spot for most competitive and action-oriented games. If you're a casual player who likes to sit back and enjoy cinematic graphics, you'll still get respectable visuals, though you'll need to dial back a few settings to stay above 60 frames per second. Speaking of the display, the 165Hz refresh rate is the headline that stands out. The panel's 120Hz baseline already makes motion look fluid, and the bump to 165Hz really shines in fast shooters. The 1920x1200 resolution adds a bit of vertical real estate compared to a strict 1080p panel, which is handy for multitasking. Think Discord on one side, game on the other. Color accuracy is decent out of the box, but it's not calibrated for professional photo work. If you need a color-critical screen, you'd still want an external monitor. The trade-off here is that the higher refresh rate consumes more power, which ties into the next point: battery life. Battery life on the A16 is realistic for a gaming machine with a 90Wh cell. In a typical mixed-use scenario, some browsing, a bit of streaming, and a short gaming session, I saw about 3.5 hours before the charger was needed. That's enough to get you through a commute or a coffee shop stint, but you shouldn't plan a marathon gaming night unplugged. The laptop does include a USB-C power delivery port, so you can keep it powered while you're on a desk, which mitigates the concern for most users who treat the laptop as a primary workstation rather than a pure on-the-go gaming rig. Port selection is fairly generous. You get 2 full-size USB-A ports, a USB-C that supports both DisplayPort and power delivery, an HDMI 2.1 output, and an Ethernet jack. That means you can hook up a 4K monitor for work or a high-refresh external display for competitive play without needing a dongle. The Wi-Fi 6E module provides the latest wireless speeds, which is a nice future-proofing touch, especially if you have a router that supports the 6 GHz band. The downside is the lack of a dedicated SD card slot, which some content creators miss when they need quick media transfers. Storage and memory are where the A16 starts to feel more like a desktop replacement. A 2TB NVMe SSD means you can install several large games ***Starfield***, Call of Duty.